welcome back to my channel. Today in this video I'm sharing my July 2025 wrap up with the books I have read, what I liked and what I didn't like, with a little bit of life highlight and what I might read in August. So July in a life was a bit normal, uneventful, a little monotonous as well. But the highlight of the month was all Sundays I spent with my kid watching Netflix movies and series. So movies and series we watched together were Scrooge, K-pop Demon Hunter, Little Women and Wolf King series. I really enjoyed this mother-daughter time we had every Sunday, and it is kind of becoming now our Sunday ritual. So coming back to all the books I have read in July 2025, I read total 8 books. I was really surprised looking at the total number of the books I could read, because most of the time I felt like it was taking me like entire week to read one book. So I was not expecting I read this many books by the end of the month. First book I read in July was The Battle of Bookstores. So if you have watched a previous June wrap-up video, you must know that I have read 2 books by the same author, that were Come Back Summer and Until Next Summer. And while I was going through all the books I had by the author, I had to read this recent release, Battle of Bookstore, and it was really good. In fact, I found that the best book I have read so far by these authors. The Battle of Bookstore was a book about book, and I really loved the concept in this book. Josie and Ryan are bookstore owners. Josie runs a literary fiction bookstore and Ryan has a romance bookstore, and both were forced to compete for the same managerial position, and that started their battle for bookstore. The catch was Josie and Ryan knew each other already. They were friends online but anonymously. I really enjoyed their witty banter, how they talked about their favorite genre and how they battled not just over their bookstores but also about their perspective towards their genre, and how they could not understand the other genre as well. The best part of the book is how they transitioned from becoming enemies to lovers, and it was also really heartwarming to see them develop by the end of the book and getting over their insecurities and vulnerabilities. Overall, it was heartwarming book set in a bookstore that all book lovers are going to like it. Next I read was Scorched Roses. This was a vampire fantasy. It is a novella in the Crowns of Nyxia series. It's a story of Vale and Lilith that takes place before the Ashes and the Starkest King. And this tells us how Vale fell in love with Lilith before he returns back into the vampire world in Ashes and Starkest King. This had a Beauty and Beast vibe. The setting of a plague-ridden farming town is atmospheric. The story is tense and it kept me hooked till the end. It had everything I want from a fantasy book, and it was amazing how author had fit it all in a short novella. Next I read was Witch's Guide to Magical Innkeeping. I read A Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches by the same author previously last year, and it was my favorite book of the year. And this had the same cozy, warm, heartwarming vibe, and I instantly fell in love with this book. I enjoyed quirky characters, found family vibe, magical in that itself felt like a character, and the slow romance that wasn't the main part of the story but still was very important for both the characters' development. It was all really amazing. Only a little bit part that I did not like was the battle between the main character and villain. The result of it was not as satisfying as I was expecting. While the end is happy ending, I still felt like main character deserved to have it all. So putting aside that very avoidable issue, this was a super lovely and heartfelt book I read, and I recommend it. Another book about books I read was Book Lovers by Emily Henry, and like previous Emily Henry books I have read, this had the same character and emotional depth as well. I love the concept in this book, and I rooted for Nora and Charlie from the beginning of the book. Small town setting, checklist, sister bonds, slow burn romance, it all hit the right note in this. Next I read was Little Women. This is another cozy, warm, timeless classic I read. I loved the book, loved the layer and the theme of sisterhood, family strength, and being better person with a simple life. And I am kicking myself for not reading this earlier. I'm definitely reading the next books in this series. Next, I reread The Hunger Games. I am rereading the entire series along with the Instagram group. Rereading this book felt like peeling off the layers. I first read The Hunger Games, I think 10 years back, and now that I reread the book, I realized how many details I did not remember. And rereading gave a fresh perspective towards the characters and also the plot and setting, and I really enjoyed it. I found the plot just as thrilling, smart, and tense as I felt it when I read the book the first time. And while I enjoyed the plot, I still don't like the love triangle in this book. I still don't like Peeta, and this time I feel I am a Team Katniss. Next was Beyond the Syllabus. This was a short non-fiction about life advices for teenagers. Author covers all aspects of their life like career, money, friendship, relationship, social media, AI. In this short book, it is written in a quote format, and it is a flip through book that teenagers could go through it whenever they feel they want a motivation in a life. While I feel this doesn't give the answers to all the questions, it definitely gives the advice that we learn through life experience very early for the kids. So it is a yes for me. I definitely recommend this for teenagers. Next I read was Forgotten Dawn. This was a fee fantasy. I love the concept in this book. It was about Brida, the main character, who is a human in a fee world, and her father is very ill. This fee world has four courts, and every year this courts held the competition to take a new members in the courts. And Brida sees this as her chance to save her father because winning the competition and being a part of the court means it gives the power and magic that can help her to heal her father. Now the invitations goes to the people who comes from fee lineage. They also invite humans, but it is very rare. And the problem is Brida doesn't get the invitation. And so she fakes her invitation to enter the competition, and that starts all the complex web of in the book. While I was expecting this to be a fast-paced political intrigue and very tense with a high stake, the first half of the book turned out disappointing. This was very slow, stakes felt very low, and I didn't like main character and her constant feeling anxious and fearing that somebody might find out her secret and it will be deadly for her. And it was good, right? It was understandable for some time, but after some time it got very frustrating. To make it more annoying, there is a love triangle, which I felt was totally unnecessary. So while this is going very on a negative side, second half actually makes up to it. The pace is still same, but stakes are slowly rising. The political intrigue I was expecting was also rising in the second half, and I really loved how things were going in the second half. It had everything I wanted from the beginning of the book. And that end, all chaos erupted. It was amazing. It also, the book ended with a cliffhanger, which was a cliffhanger from hell and made me demand the second book right now from the author. But let's just say, makes the second book very promising, and I just hope the second book it turns out a bit of fast paced with more actions, with more political intrigue, and let's just say I'm really excited for the second book of the series, even though this didn't work out for me. So this were the all books I read in July 2025. If you wish to read full reviews of the books mentioned in this video, the links are available in the description. As for the August plan, there are many holidays for us here in India, and we were planning a day trip or a 2-3 days getaway, so I might not able to read as much as I read in July, but I definitely plan to finish the Hunger Games series. And also Happy Place, that is the last Emily Henry book I have in my collection before I go and buy new releases by the author. I also have picked up some library books that I wish to read. So I am hoping I can read 5 to 6 books in August. So that's a wrap. Let me know in the comments what was your most favorite book and also least favorite book in the month of July, and what are you planning to read in August. So if you like this video, like, comment, hit that bell button so you don't miss out on the next bookish content. See ya.